Okay, and we are back into the rift as both teams are running to the center of the map, trying to get some early vision off, hopefully securing what may be each enemy's jungle start, so they can try and assess how they want to play this map out. And Gragas gets an early ward, which is taken down very swiftly by Ollie and his ADC, and it's just gonna look like a bit of a standoff here.
Yeah, one thing I find... Oh, they seem to be typing to each other.
There seems to be a bit of technical difficulty as someone is experiencing a black screen apparently. So there may be a pause coming soon. That isn't a problem, so we can just talk about what do you think. We've talked about the draft, how we like it.
Yes.
Where do you think people are going to be starting? What do you think are going to be the clear paths for both Derpy and Raw hit?
I mean, when I see this, I would normally think you want to focus, like no matter top side focus, gank top lane, gank mid lane. But when I see Gnar, it's not necessarily the easiest champion to gank, especially with Gragas Renekton. So I'm potentially thinking that Gragas Yasuo could go to a more mid lane focused jungle path. However, I do think if Leona and Misfortune ever do push, they are opening themselves up to being ganked quite easily.
Absolutely.
So I think I personally need to see how the lanes go a little bit more before I make that decision.
And again, I would say Kings have a very skilled comp, whereas Brunels have, in my opinion, the winning comp.
Yes.
But if Kings are able to execute this better, like for example, if Yasuo is able to get this push in the mid lane, that really changes how the skirmish goes. And it seems like we'll be going back into the game shortly, as both teams are hitting the 1 minute mark, and we are stuck in a 0-second resume time. Very strange.
Interesting. Well, one thing we might as well talk about before the game starts is the items that people have purchased. And one thing I noticed is that Orianna is starting with the tier. So
yes.
I see that and I automatically think they are potentially paying for mid game, late game, and we are back.
Yes. So I think, yeah, Orianna is always a very safe laner. Doesn't usually get prio, can sometimes bully the enemy laner, but Yasuo has so much mobility here. So she really needs to respect Yasuo's spikes in the game, as he's really just able to dash through the minions. He excels in playing around minions and lanes. So
I think it's important to notice that we have a leash for the side, but we do not have a leash for the website. Jarvan is starting with doing a leashless jungle start, so that will give Derpy a bit more of a early game advantage as the Gragas jungle. But this does also mean that Leona and Misfortune could potentially have the bot lane push.
yeah, and I find it quite interesting. Randomness was absolutely lovely on the cast and was very confident about how he was going to be playing in future games. And we're seeing the Jinx Lulu here, which I would consider a very safe styled lane. So it's nice to see that he's really considering what is best for the team here and what is best for the late game insurance that they can play for, instead of just going for that, Draven Leona bot lane that may have hindered their draft. So I really appreciate that from King's College here. And we're seeing some really nice trades from Chinese person here.
Yeah, so out-trading
out-trading the Orianna here. Eternity is really unable to step up, as as I said, the Orianna lane just has to respect the Yasuo in the early trades.
It's the sort of matchup that even if you have the champions, even if you have the champion that's good into Yasuo, if the player is good, we've got a gank coming.
Yeah, we're seeing Raw hit going in, and the flash is followed up.
An early flash from Yasuo, and that's first blood for Orianna. That's really huge for Brunels.
Well, we see here she respected it, and she got the kill that she dreamed for, thanks to the gank from Raw here, able to punish him so quickly. I think the Yasuo flash was a bit early, but absolutely amazing play there.
We had to flash away from Yasuo and follow up from the flag into our Jarvan. And that's not necessarily... when you have a Zenith day from Leona and they're going in on the Jinx and they got the cleanse on it. They didn't get the kill, but that is really big from Brunels.
Yeah, Ollie able to secure some really nice CC there. As he was able to land a flash, and I believe that was the cleanse as well from Jinx, and a heal from Lulu. Some really early sums expended there for Kings, And that's really going to impact the bot side.
I agree. I think the fact that it's now 1 summoner to 3 summoners in favour of Brunels really means that bot lane needs to be careful. Although we do have Derpy ganking this not over the vision.
Derpy has the vision control here. 2004 realizes that pressure, but is able to walk back just in time, so he only takes a short burst of damage.
Chinese passion actually rotates up on Yasuo, and I think this gives Eternity the good opportunity to push the wave and potentially deny the CS.
Or she doesn't land the cannon, but the concept there is really good. Pushing in the lane, punishing Yasuo, so she herself can reset. It's really good here. He does manage to pick up quite a few minions there, but the fact it's going to slow push back into the Orianna's side is really beneficial.
And we also seem to have a bit of a slow push going on the top lane as well, so with all these lanes pushing into Brunels, this might give teams more opportunity to move on map and potentially punish one of those lanes.
Yeah, and here we're seeing a bit of trading from Legend RX. Really heavy trades there, but 2004 is going to have the Gnar Rage soon, so it's going to be really difficult for Legend to dive, even with that much HP being bursted there.
I agree. I do think it is important that he was able to get that trade before the Gnar bar went off, because it really prevents Gnar from getting those mobilities, getting that HP, and potentially not turning the trade around.
Absolutely. And we're seeing some really nice performance here, but they have. It seems Jin has to give up the wave with Ole here, as they let randomness push in here, because there's some pressure from Gragas. Oh, we see the tornado knockup, but Chinese person doesn't have 6, so it does not go for anything in particular, even though I don't think it would have been a good play. Shiratama getting some pressure here along with Oli. It's just nothing significant so far.
I agree. And yeah, I think it's very interesting because apart from that one kill earlier on in the game, you have a slight 400 gold lead, but I still think it's pretty even for both teams. The CS differences, if you look, are essentially 1 to 2 CS difference in each lane. So what I'm thinking of now is Dragon, Harold. Which team is going to be able to manage their waves in a way which can then have the first push? I know we actually have a shockwave from Eternity in the mid lane, so that looks to use the wave gear, not going to be available for any future ganks.
Yeah, the Eternity Shockwave was what I understand to be a decent call. You know, you can't let that wave crash, but the fact you have to use it is really unfortunate, as it just means Raw here is going to have a bit more challenge if he tries to gank the mid lane there.
Especially considering that Dragon is up, so that could be a tool they don't potentially have for their team fighting comp. We've spoken about Brunels having a team fighting comp, but I think an important thing to note is when you have this sort of composition, if you don't have a major cooldown or a major ultimate, suddenly it starts to fall apart.
Absolutely. And 2004 gets the Gnar Rage going. Isn't going to go for any heavy trades, it seems, and just lets the Rage die out. Goes for some early vision and is starting to get some control. And this is going to set up Legend to slow push back into 2004. But it seems he really wants to push this lane in. And there's some more trades going on mid lane, but Eternity is able to dodge it. Oh, Legend really trying to get some poke out here, but 2004 is able to respond with some autos.
Yeah, here we really see the advantage of Red Flag being able to pick the advantageous match up top. Because if you guys see the next one, you really think early lane, early gank, early advantage. But you don't really know.
And we see the 2004 Gnar Race getting the stun off. Legend Race is dashing in, trying to potentially go for some trades. There's a stun going on.
He's using the Gnar, he seems to be out trading, and we have the Dominus pop from Legend. We have to jump in.
Oh, Legend Race, they're both very low here. In 2004, Legend flashes on and gets the kill.
That seems to be a bit of a blunder from 2004, and all we seem to have a bit of a gank going on right now. And the explosive cast misses.
Yeah, the Cask is able to zone off Raw there, but it's not really enough to get anything in particular. I think getting the Cask onto Leona would have been really bad for the team anyway, as it would have meant Leona would have been tank frontlining and getting all the stun she needed on the AD carry. And the Chinese person goes in for the Yasuo out there, manages to dodge the shockwave, and Eternity is really in a happy feet going on there for Chinese person, as Eternity was really struggling to land some hits there.
So we had a lot of things going on the map there. I think firstly we had the fight between 2004 and Renekton for Titan Kings, and we saw the flash under the turret from Gnar, which really sort of sealed his fate. And we can see that the pressure may be getting to these players. We know we saw that chat in the chat, we saw them talk about it, and it is a very stressful game. I think it's important to note that.
Absolutely. And the CS Gold is starting, or has always been in Brunel's favour, but it's only a 600 gold lead at the moment. And whilst that is quite a bit, it could be quite significant for an item. But Chinese person here is going in and really trying to dash into the tower. Eternity was getting low there, but just able to be in the net of the tower's range just in time. 2004 is shoving in once again.
Yes, I agree, and I think that whilst it is good for Kings that Chinese person can still have this passionate advantage on Yasuo, but we don't really know exactly what's going to be going on.
So from what chat is asking, they're asking the performance of Lulu right now, and I think Lulu's doing quite decent, just zoning off. What we need to understand here is that it's a very scaling lane for the bot side, so there isn't really going to be a huge amount of impact from the blue side of supports at the moment.
Exactly, there really isn't much of any jungle intervention in bottom. We did have some trade earlier, and Showtime was able to use the heal to protect Manuel's but
the Chinese person able to flash off the raw hits ult and just managing to get out very scathed, having to use the flash as well. A big summoner, but out nonetheless. And 2004 is looking for an extended fight on Duppy. Misses the knock, and Duppy is backed into a corner here. He tries to bomb it, but
really bad for Kingsley.
Yeah, that is 2 objectives in a row. From Drake, walks straight up to Herald, gets the kill on Derpy. That is going to be another free objective in the favour of Brunels. Really good performance here so far.
Although I think an important thing we should mention that even though Brunels has gotten the kill, they've gotten the objectives, the gold lead hasn't increased. So this shows that Kings is still using that chance to CS in lanes and recoup as much gold as they can.
Absolutely, and once again, it is all about scaling here for King's College. Once the Jinx is online, once the Yasuo has hit his own 10 power spike, once Gragas is able to get a couple bombers in there, I think it's really going to be in the favour of Kings if they're able to make those plays. But at the moment, Brunels is just getting that the objective dominance, and if they keep that, it is over for Kings.
I think a really important thing that not important, but a nice thing I've just noticed is that in the mid lane, you see that Eternity has built the plate and steel caps, and when you look at this team come from Kings with the Jinx, the Yasuo, the Renekton, these Spanish forces are physical, they also rely a lot on auto attack damage, and the fact that we have the steel caps and tensions Donyas from Orianna, she might not be as efficient as she would normally be. And I think this is some really good itemization, which shows that Brunels has done that.
I think it is a good call, although I would argue Eternity should not be getting hit in the first place. But the shockwave goes off and Chinese person is able to land a wind wall, and it blocks a couple of autos from Eternity, but it's not enough, as Ollie is able to secure some stuns, which lands the kill under tower. And that is a 3-0 Orianna. That is insane performance, right?
It's very good for Brunels. As we said earlier, Orianna's the sort of champion who's so good at keeping people at arm's length, keeping themselves away, keeping their team away, keeping the enemy away, and always seem to be having a bit of a trade and
Legendary X really going in for that burst there, but 2004 is following up quite nicely. Is able to get the rage, but doesn't follow up. I think it's because of the minion advantage that Legendary X had, but yeah. It seems they disengage, and Legendary X is just able to get the back.
And one thing I've wanted to talk about, I haven't really wanted to talk about, is we mentioned that this would be a very jungle-centric matchup. And if we see the junglers, we seem to see that Dirty and Rawhit have chosen different jungle items. Because usually, the most supportive tanky junglers can get the green jungle item. Dirty has opted into Dark Seal and the red jungle item. So I saw that and I thought perhaps Derby's going to go early ganks, early trade, early pressure, but that hasn't really translated into the game plan.
Absolutely, I think Derby's been a little bit shook so far in this Rift fight. So at the moment, I think he'll still be able to come online, but what Jarvan is able to provide, even if he is behind in the late game fights, is his tankiness, is his front line and his lockdown, which Gragas can provide, but he does need to scale. So we'll have to see how it plays out, but I do agree. There could be some more ganking from Gragas. There could, especially in the mid lane, as Chinese person really is showing some really nice fights, but he's just not there, you know. So we're gonna have to see how that plays out.
And you see that we have the Krakens there completed for the Misfortune on the side of Brunels, but we do also see the completed Carl for Randomness from the Jinx. So this could potentially be both ACC and
yeah, Legend of Rex lands some really immense damage there onto the Gnar. So that could possibly mean a dive, especially with how low Gnar's rage is.
And we I think an interesting thing to notice is that we have Shirotama on Lulu spending a lot of time bot lane, staying with the Jinx, enabling her to potentially steal our carry. But on the other side, outside of it now, we have Ollie doing a lot of running on this Leona and trying to take the lead.
Absolutely. Ollie's impact has been very dominant so far in terms of, in comparison to Shirotama. But we're going to see Shirotama potentially prove herself here as Random is getting ulted by Lulu, has to flash out.
Such a good cleanse flash, and the second Misfortune ultimate comes down, cleanse flash avoids the vast majority of damage.
Unfortunately, it does mean both summoners are used, and it will not be able to be used again for another 4 minutes. So that is going to be very unfortunate, and it does also mean the red team, Brunels, is able to secure their second Drake, which is proud.
And we can see that the Hextech Soul is going to be the soul for this game. And Hextech Soul is a soul which really tends to benefit longer range teams if they can take advantage of the slur, the pressure and the power. And I don't really see either team necessarily benefiting that much from long range engaged poke with Hextech Soul. So it's very interesting to see whether this is a game where the soul is decided capital or rather the elder which follows it.
Absolutely. I think Hextech is going to benefit both teams there, but the bomber is missed. But it's still able to land the Yasuo. Oh, and the shutdown goes to Chinese person. This is a massive turnaround in the mid lane here, as it could mean a drastic spike for Yasuo here as a champion.
I agree. He already has all the components purchased for his Crimson and short bow. And we can already see if he's gotten a shutdown, he's probably going to try to get it.
And Roll here is going for some skirmishing here against Derpy, but not landing much damage here, as Derpy's just able to press W, drink some ale and take no damage. Classic Ragus life, can't help but respect it. And the disengage happened, and Legend is just going to back.
I think a really nice thing from that kill onto Eternity in the mid lane is that a minute earlier, a Chinese person was able to force the Orion flash on one-on-one. And I think if you're able to force the enemy lane's flash by yourself, you're really enabling not only yourself, but your teammates to take advantage of it.
Absolutely, and you know, if not being able to get the flash off is what is Ollie really landing a nice set of ult and E there. Able to stun the Lulu. She has to flash out, unfortunately. And it seems that Eternity has to TP to the bot side to match the Yasuo there. But yeah, again, being able to secure those flashes is huge for your jungle teammate, as it just means you're able to dive, you're able to, you know, have much more pressure in the laning phase. As you know, as long as your jungle is good, you're good in the lane.
I agree. And we see here that Brunels have really taken every objective that's come up so far. They've taken both Herald and they've taken both Dragons, and yet they're only around 700, maybe 1,000 gold ahead. And if I think of all these objectives being taken, I think of dominance, yet we're not really seeing that on the scoreboard.
Well, you say that, but a lot of dominance is being shown through the vision here. Whilst we are seeing the every now and then award from King's College, maybe like the pink ward on Brunels' red buff, like they are just planting pink wards, yellow wards, everything they can possibly throw out onto the objective they want to land before it's even up, right? So they're really getting that early game pressure, or not early game, but early objective pressure. So even if Kings wanted to respond, they can't, because they have the control.
And I think that's a really good advantage of Brunels draft over Kings. When you have a roaming tank support like Leona, you can go and place forwards around the map. Yet with Shiratama almost babysitting randomness on the strings, Lulu doesn't have the same freedom to go around and board as often.
Absolutely. And whilst I think Shiratama could be potentially leashing Jinx into the jungle, you know, maybe randomness is a little bit scared to start fighting in the team. It's still a possibility, and Jinx landing that one kill is able to snowball the whole fight. I think there is an opportunity for the teams to start colliding here in groups, but we just have to wait and see, as Raw is able to get the rift off and mid tower goes down, which opens up a lot of potential for Brunels.
I agree. Kings were able to feed the top turret kill to Jinx, but Brunels are able to trade back and forth. And I have just been informed, if you look at the scoreboard, you can see 5 plated steel caps for the side of Brunels. So, as I said earlier, it does seem to be an item which really could be of good benefit against this side of Kings.
You know, I completely forgot that plated steel caps was actually buffed this patch. I don't know if it's broken, but apparently there was a lot of kind of unknown bugs with the item that sometimes it wouldn't react to on hit, stuff like that. So maybe the item is just broken now and everyone is taking it. I think it's a really good game to take it, since they have a Lulu support, a Jinx, Yasuo and Renekton, all very heavy auto attackers, and Raw Hit is going for a quick trade on Chinese person and he's forced to back out behind Shiratama. But yeah, maybe it's just a broken item right now, and Brunels have just clocked it before anyone else.
I will say that it did initially seem like both teams are pushing to back, but now it actually seems like Kings are sort of withdrawing. No, they seem to be going back into the river. But look, the Orion ready in that, and they get
the shockwave lands here, and everyone is piling, and the MF is popping off now. Legend RX trying to get into the back lane, but it's just not enough.
Oh, the 4-man lock up from Yasuo, but it's not enough.
Chinese person is really trying to land the damage, but it's just not enough. And that is 3 for 1. But Randomness manages to get the kill, manages to get 2 kills, 3 kills onto Brunels. And Randomness is now in the stage of the game where he is in control.
That's such a disappointing fight for
Brunels
because it was looking so good. Merlin had died, but unfortunately Misfortune walked onto the Drinks grenade, and then the flash forward from Legend on the Renekton was able to get the reset for the Jinx, and the Jinx took over.
Yeah, it was just a push a little bit too far. I mean, they had everything there. They had the wombo, they comboed it, but you know, it was just a really nice response from the side of Kings. Just mechanically able to just clutch that fight around, even though they didn't have the advantage in that.
I agree, and I think that's almost the weakness of combo team comps, that if you execute a combo and it all goes really well, you think, yeah, let's keep going. But you've already used your combo, and you don't really have much else for the coming team fight. And if Jinx survives the combo, as you see, she can very easily clean everything right back up.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. But you know, they still had ways they could have played out that fight. It just didn't happen, and it's really unfortunate to see, which has meant Kings is back into the game.
Yes.
I don't think that means they are in control of the game, as the gold is very even right now, and both teams scale quite well in my opinion. But you know, we'll have to see how it plays out. Noah was able to land quite a few kills there, but Legend RX is going for the dive, and Randomness is also looking for another pick on Ollie here. Gets stunned and lands the rocket. Randomness now has 4 kills on the scoreboard for her, and they're looking for Baron as Derpy is now hovering. But Brunels do have vision, so they do know this is happening.
Warhead seems to be pushing for a steal right now, but Warhead's guns may not be that simple because they do know that he is there as well.
Dodges the tornado. Raw Hit has the buff of eternity, so maybe Oriana Shockwave is able to be landed here, but it seems they're responding, and Chinese person goes in with the Yasuo, and it seems they're able to zone off. The MF ult goes wide, but Legend RX is now chasing down Misfortune. And they continue. Dopey goes down though. Are they able to find it? No, Randomness is able to secure the Baron. A very scrappy fight there. A lot of good picks made by Derpy, followed up by Chinese person, and then collected by Randomness. But you know, unfortunately, Derpy goes down, but the Baron is still taken, which is what matters.
And I think a very interesting thing is now that the gold lead has ballooned to around 3k, so it just shows all it takes is that one fight, those few series of unfortunate events, and Kings has been able to create a more sizable lead in their favor.
Absolutely. So that is one Drake they have taken back. Now it's a Baron. This is really big, as it means they're able to push in the waves, get a lot of control, maybe even take a tower here. It looks like Chinese person is eyeing up that bot lane tower, and it doesn't seem like any of the red side is able to respond to it other than Eternity and Raw here. But I think, you know, I believe Chinese person can 1v2 this, especially with Derpy around.
And I think looking at the itemization from Kings, we have 4 very high damage builds. We have Fork, Prowler's Claw, Almanecton, and then we have Night Harvester for Derpy in the jungle. But I'm also looking at the builds of Oli having...
Raw here going in here, trying to get a pick on Derpy, but they just don't have damage here. And they manage to get the bomber on Oli, and Chinese person follows it up nicely and collects the kill. Raw here is now smited, and the Jinx Rocket lands, but it isn't enough, and Derpy gets the bomb and is able to get a nice belly smash onto Jarvan, and he goes down.
I agree, and I think this follows up with what I was about to say before this all happened, where even though Brunels are itemizing defensively, Kings just has so much damage, it doesn't really seem to matter. All it takes is one long-range knockout.
Absolutely. I mean, Kings is just such a scrappy comp, right? There's multiple ways they can play this. They can play it front to back. They can play it diving. They can... Renekton can just 1v9 if he's fed enough, right? Whereas Brunels have a very set way they want to play these fights, and they can't play it alone. They have to play it together. And if Oli gets caught out, if Raw gets caught out, if 2004 gets caught out, it is over for this team. And that is what is currently happening for Kings, as they are now starting to get the gold lead, 7k ahead onto Brunels.
Yes. And I've been talking about itemization a lot, right? It's one of the things we can see right in front of us. And I see that Oli has bought the Lunari Pauldrons on Leona. I think that's very interesting because they don't actually work with Leona's CC. Because Leona hits you with her abilities, she hits them at range and then it goes off. And then you go close, so it doesn't actually affect the enemy team. So I think that's a bit of an itemization blunder from Oli on the Leona.
Wait, so you think Even Shroud is a bad item here?
It's not a bad item, it's just not good on Leona because Even Shrouds do buff support around you and you CC people, but
right.
Leona's engaged CCs are range. So it's the same reason you don't buy the item on a movement, because you Q them, stun everyone around you in like a tiny area, and then you go in.
Interesting, that's very... I never knew that, so that is one thing. You learn something every day, and this is the thing we've learned this game. But we're seeing a fight here as Raw is able to get the land, and we're seeing the MF ult land onto the backline here, but Legendar X is in their backline, and he's just able to collect the kill there. 2 kills on randomness as well, and I don't play Jim is able to take Shiratama, and Legendar X secures the kill on Nah. A double kill for Renekton and Jinx. It is looking very good for King's College as they're now sieging into Brunels' stage.
I agree, and this is the second time we've seen this where it's a fight around Dragon, where it gets right Brunels. They succeeded their combo, they get 2, but then they get 3 back afterwards, and they could be going for the end right now.
They managed to secure the end, and it is looking very bad for Brunels right now, as they are absolutely shredding down the Nexus, and it is a win for King's College. An absolute amazing turnaround through the fights, and just such an intense game to watch, I'd say. I don't know about you, would you say the same?
I agree the same, and I think we should remind everyone that we will be having an interview with the support of Brunels Oli after a quick break.